From illegal shapes to pumpkin variations, here are 97 Minecraft things you didn't know existed. Check out my colored maps! They're possible to obtain in completely vanilla Minecraft. That's because when you give yourself a map item, you're able to specify the color of the map that you get. My favorite is this red one. When you get mining fatigue, you probably know that digging anything becomes significantly slower. However, have you ever wondered what the effect icon represents? If you think it looks like a spoon, you're actually right. It symbolizes how slow mining becomes, as if you're practically digging with a spoon. Did you know you could get command blocks in survival mode? Well, sort of. You can use map arts to create what looks like illegal blocks, such as command blocks and bedrock. These map blocks aren't functional, but they're a great way to shock your friends. You can create a server-wide newspaper using maps in Minecraft. Just hand them out to players, and whatever you build in the map area will update on all the maps you handed out. This method is particularly effective for communicating with players in survival mode. It's being used on the Anarchy server 2B2T, where players distributed new maps. However, they often had their newspapers griefed, so be careful! Did you know in the Bedrock edition, if you hold out an emerald, villagers will show you what items they have to trade? Now I can immediately tell these villagers are all trying to scam me! When you use slime blocks and pistons to launch a boat straight up, it creates an unusual glitch. The boat falls back down in an odd bouncing motion as if it's hovering mid-air. It's not a huge bug, but it makes boat wave machines impossible to build. Create a lighting system in Minecraft that mimics the sun during the day and the moon at night. Building it is pretty simple too. Just have a few of the lamps powered on permanently, while the others have daylight sensors on top to activate during the day. Tiger trees can be pretty annoying to cut down since you can't reach the top logs. A simple solution is to use doors. Placing a door lets you stack up 2 blocks high, making it easy to collect those pesky logs. When you're ready to get down, just mine the log underneath the door to break them both at the same time. Now you have no excuse for leaving floating trees around. You can create floating lava using a specific setup involving pistons, redstone blocks, and slime blocks. Once you remove the blocks, the lava will be left floating in the air. The same method works for water. It's a unique trick you can do to surprise your friends. The Totem of Undying used to be terrible. When it was initially added, if you fell into lava and died, the totem would activate to save you, but you would immediately die to the flames again. Fortunately, in 1.16.2, this was changed so you get 40 seconds of fire resistance when the totem pops. Much better. By cramming a bunch of chickens into a closed area, splashing them with a wind-charged potion, and then killing them all at once, you can be sent soaring into the sky. What's great about this method is that, unlike TNT, the initial launch doesn't cause any damage to you. I really don't like this feature. In the end, you'll notice some end pillars of iron bars protecting the crystals. However, the iron bars are barely even doing anything. If you just angle yourself correctly, you can still shoot the crystal. Turtle eggs are super delicate. Even bees flying over them can break the eggs. If your campfire goes out, you can actually use a flame bow to reignite it. This feature works on both normal campfires and soul campfires. If an enderman is pressed against a wall, you can shoot an arrow at it and the arrow will phase through the wall. The enderman doesn't have to be in a minecart either. Just right up next to the wall and the arrow will magically travel through. In the texture files for Minecraft's Elder Guardian, you'll find that Jeb, one of the game's developers, has signed his name onto it. Prank your friends with a fake death screen. If aligned perfectly, it looks surprisingly realistic. However, make sure you build it properly because even a slight misalignment will completely ruin the illusion. Building natural-looking islands can be challenging. To achieve a truly natural effect, start with a giant patch of dirt and let grass and mycelium spread across it. Once they cover the area, remove the mycelium to reveal a beautifully natural island outline. Redstone is great for creating contraptions, but having wires all across your floor is hideous! To cover them up, you can actually place item frames and map arts on top to hide the wires. This way, my floor looks clean and stylish. Snow golems don't spawn naturally. Well, they're not supposed to anyways. But there is a super rare occurrence that can cause them to generate. Enderman can pick up pumpkin blocks and theoretically place one on 2 snow blocks, creating a snow golem. But this occurrence is extremely rare. What's the lowest field of view you can get in vanilla Minecraft? To get it, set your FOV slider to the minimum, apply the maximum level of slowness effect, and then use a spyglass. You can see miles away with this method. Have you ever seen those flipbook animations? Well, turns out you can make them in Minecraft as well. Draw your frames on each page. When you flip through the pages quickly, drawings will animate, bringing your story to life. When breeding sheep of different colors, like red and blue, the baby sheep's color will be a mix of both parents' colors. Circles are illegal in Minecraft. They should not exist. Well, unless you're a coding master, because YouTuber Command Geek actually created a data pack that lets you easily create circles in the game. To create one, just hold a name tag in your offhand that's named circle and hold your block of choice. Once ready, just sneak and your circle will instantly generate. You can even fill it up up with water to create a pond. Or if you want to completely break Minecraft, hold a name tag called sphere, and then shift to create a perfect sphere all without any mods. When you die, any items with a curse of vanishing will be deleted. This may sound pretty terrible at first, but it can actually be strategically useful. If you don't want your enemies to get your items after killing you, just apply curse of vanishing to your important gear, and you won't have to worry about it being stolen. To tame a wolf, you'll need to feed it bones. However, once tamed, these wolves can no longer eat bones. They will still show the head-turning behavior they did when first tamed, but they won't accept any more bones. If your friends are constantly showing off their water bucket clutches, a funny way to prank them is by replacing the floor with slabs. In a water MLG contest, using slabs will cause the water to go through the other side, catching them off guard. Before boat chests were added, pro players found a workaround. They would attach a chest to a llama and then place the llama in the back of a boat. It served a similar purpose to the boat chest and looks a bit funnier. There's an illegal way to travel through block gaps without crawling or flying. If you ride on a pig, you're actually able to go right through it. However, you'll end up suffocating while doing so. It's a strange feature how the pig can just force you along with it. The higher you fall from, the more damage the mace will do. But what happens if you have the slow falling effect while using the mace? The slow falling effect will actually reduce the amount of damage done, because the final damage depends on the player's falling speed. Mushroom biomes are usually one of the safest places in Minecraft because hostile mobs can't spawn there. However, in this particular seed, hostile mobs are present on the island. This anomaly occurs because the mushroom biome overlaps with other biomes where hostile mobs can spawn. Struggling with the wither? An easy way to defeat it is by spawning it under the end fountain, where it can't escape and will suffocate. For faster results, use fireworks, which add damage and help it die quicker. While Minecraft offers a variety of default paintings for decoration, you can get even more creative by making custom paintings using maps. Building the map art will take a ton of time, but it'll definitely be worth it. My favorite is this map of Starry Night. Looks so pretty. The blue axolotl has a depressing secret. You may know that it has a 1 in 1,200 chance of spawning. This number has an actual meaning. Scientists estimated that in the entire real world, there are only about 1,200 wild axolotls left. Minecraft stairs really don't make any sense. Somehow, crafting 6 oak blocks turns into 4 stair blocks, even though each stair block is actually 3/4 the size of a full block. So, what's Steve doing with all that extra wood? Armor trims were introduced to the game in 2023. But what if I told you they actually existed 8 years before that? Minecraft Story Mode was a story-driven game, and one of the characters actually wore those blue-looking armor trims. Throwing a snowball through fire in Java Edition won't harm mobs, but in Bedrock Edition, these flaming snowballs will set mobs on fire. To utilize this, place snow golems inside fire cages, and they'll shoot flaming snowballs at all hostile enemies. Crawling lets you fit in a 1-block tall space, but if you try to squeeze through a slab, you won't fit. This may seem reasonable, but if you use snow layers and stack up gradually, you can actually enter the same size crawl space. I'm feeling claustrophobic! When you explode falling dripstone, it actually causes the stack to split apart and fly into their own directions. This happens because each falling dripstone is treated as its own entity. This is a magic button. It's not connected to any blocks, but when you press the button, a firework gets launched into the air. Hidden beneath the carpet are the redstone components and a clock mechanism that detects when the button is pressed. Minecraft physics are lame, so this user created a working physics sandbox all using commands. It features realistic water and sand physics, and you can even draw borders within the sandbox. I have no idea how someone would even begin to code something this complex, but I love it! Don't step on this carpet. It may look safe, but hidden underneath is a fragile turtle egg. A single wrong step could cause the carpet to break, sending you crashing downwards. You need to eat this flower. While you can't normally eat the decorative plants, if you add a dandelion to your mushroom stew, it'll supercharge it with saturation. The mushroom stew by itself only fuels up 3 hunger bars. However, if you just add a dandelion to the crafting recipe, you'll get a suspicious stew that covers 6.5 hunger bars. When you breed any 2 mobs together, you'll unlock the parrot and bats achievement. But have you ever wondered why it's called that? Well, the reason is pretty ironic since both parrots and bats are both impossible to breed. The Nether has a dark red sky, but I prefer the blue overworld one. To simulate it in the Nether, you can use bright blue maps to create a fake sky. Now you can feel a little bit more at home in this fiery wasteland. Are you playing Minecraft too much? Well, you may need this. Apparently use commands to lock your world, and the only way to get out is by solving a math problem. What's even cooler is that this was made with just a single command and requires no resource packs. Someone help me with this math problem! Contrary to popular belief, dispensers can place certain blocks. They can place pumpkins to spawn golems when the right structure is in place. However, if the snow blocks are just out of reach like so, the dispenser will still place the pumpkin, even though it won't spawn a golem. Tired of waiting for your furnace? Build an alert system with an observer lava block, and note blocks. This setup will notify you once your furnace has finished cooking, ensuring you never wait too long for your meals. If you step on this pressure plate, nothing will actually happen. It's a decoy. But if someone tries to remove it, the pressure plate will be picked up by a hopper minecart hidden underneath, which will then trigger a massive TNT explosion. Minecarts can't move if you place a block like this, but if you place the block directly onto the rail like this, then the minecart will pass through the block. This world is unlike any other, featuring end pillars in the overworld, expansive grass plains, towering mountains, and vast oceans. Endermen are the only mobs that naturally spawn here. To create this unique environment, customize your world settings to a single biome world and select the end as the biome. Wall blocks are normally used to build a fence for animals. However, they actually make good blocks for walls too. When placed next to glass panes and iron bars, they'll connect smoothly. If you're looking for thinner walls, this is your best bet. Everyone knows water and lava creates cobblestone, but something strange happens here. The lava is just running into a wall, and somehow cobblestone is forming. This is because cobblestone can strangely generate even when the lava touches the backside of a waterlogged stair. Most players think netherite weapons are the strongest, but they're not even close to best. End crystals are way more powerful because they can blow up your enemies in seconds. However, due to their overwhelming power, many survival servers ban end crystal PvP, as they render traditional weapons like swords almost pointless. How do you craft a hoe in Minecraft? I craft mine with the items going towards the left of the sticks to match the hoe design. However, having the item to the right of the sticks also works, but should not be allowed. The same goes for the axe, where both methods work, but one of them is clearly the right way. Moving animals can be tricky without leads, but there's a workaround. Light the animals on fire and then place water in their destination area. The burning animals will pathfind directly to the water to extinguish themselves, but make sure your mobs have enough health, or you'll just be getting some cooked pork chops. How does this item exist with a stack count of 0? Back in Snapshot 15W31A, you could create such an anomaly. If you shot a bow with 0 durability, it would result in a 0 stack item. Everyone knows there are 2 types of flames in Minecraft, so a cool addition we can add into our houses is a fireplace that changes colors. Pistons are used to swap the blocks underneath the flames from netherrack to soul sand. It lets you easily change up the atmosphere of your house with the flick of a switch. Phantoms spawn when the player hasn't slept for 3 nights, but they surprisingly can't spawn in Mushroom Islands as well. However, be aware that as soon as you step out of the biome, if you haven't slept for those 3 nights, phantoms will spawn in. Did you know it's actually possible to trap a phantom in a minecart? It looks pretty weird inside of it, but that's not the only strange mob we can capture. Any non-mob boss is able to be placed in a minecart, and some of them don't even properly fit, like the Ghast, Sniffer, and even Ravager. Trapdoors used to be very annoying. In older Minecraft versions, if a trapdoor was placed at the end of a ladder, it'd be very difficult to get out of. Mojang fixed this by making trapdoors climbable when connected to a ladder. However, this also created a crazy bug. You're now able to create these strange ladder trapdoor combinations that you can actually climb. Open the gates! In this setup, the city gates open when you blow a goat horn. It works by using a calibrated skulk sensor with a signal strength of 3 going into it, making only items being detected. Technically, you're able to throw a snowball to open the doors as well, but a goat horn is much cooler. This is an infinite parkour world. A Reddit user coded it because he was feeling bored. It's amazing how every single jump is possible, yet difficult. If you try it for yourself and suck at parkour, there's even an easy mode you can switch to. I love the sleek animations of new jumps being added. You may know the blue axolotl has a 1 in 1,200 chance of spawning in Minecraft, but did you know the blue variant isn't found in real life? It was introduced into the game following a suggestion from Reddit user Dark Ice Flame, and is supposed to be a reference to the water Pokemon Mudkip. The heavy core is supposed to be used for crafting the mace, but when you place it into a reinforced deep slate, the lines perfectly fit. Do you think this is a coincidence? Stop leaving floating trees! To teach your friends a lesson, place an observer under a tree and fill the area below with loads of TNT. Next time your friend cuts a log, they'll be exploded to smithereens, but you'll also be left with a massive crater. What's your favorite food? Steak, baked potatoes, or cake? My favorite is this pickaxe right here. This is possible by using Minecraft commands to give yourself a custom item with modified MBT data. You can also create items with custom stack sizes up to 99, or make a regular item act as a tool. You should never have fire near TNT. Well, almost never, because if you place a campfire on top of a TNT, it will look alarming. Yet, it's perfectly safe and won't cause the TNT to explode. Most players fish by using a rod or attacking with a sword. However, this overpowered method is even better. Using firework rockets, you can take out large groups of fish with a single shot. It's super effective and is basically just dynamite fishing. This is an infinity room. Looks like you're floating completely in a white void. The room was made using white colored maps and placing them all around the walls and floors in side item frames. However, you can also create these infinity rooms in different colors, like purple or even black. Imagine trapping your friends in one while they're AFK. They'll be super confused when they return. Instead of throwing your trash downwards, how about bouncing them straight upwards? This bouncy trash cam reveals a slime block that pushes your trash straight into lava above. Did you know the appearance of Minecraft XP orbs has changed over time? Originally, when XP orbs were introduced, the textures were completely solid. However, in Update 1.15, the texture was modified to be slightly transparent, giving them a more magical look. Shadows are broken in the Bedrock edition. If a mob is standing on top of a slab, the shadow will actually go through the block. The shadow can even be cast on top of lava. If you're trying to convert your grassy lands to a snowy forest, don't manually place the snow layers. Instead, you can save so much time by using snow golems. Just spawn a few in and drag them across your fields using leads. Enslaving snow golems is much quicker than placing the layers one by one. TNT launchers are perfect for blowing up your enemies, but what if you wanted something a little less destructive? Well, you'll need the dripstone launcher. It can be built with just a few observers, pistons, and tripwire hooks. When you place a dripstone, it'll fall down and get launched by TNT into your enemies. Or if that's too complex, you can also set up a bubble beam column to hold the dripstone for you to launch. This one block of water can provide unlimited food. That's because even just a single water block is enough for you to catch fish using a rod. So if you're ever starving, just place down your water bucket and go fishing. Ever wondered why Minecraft bees are so large? Each bee's hitbox is half a block in size, making them much larger than real-life bees. The Mojang team made bees this size because they thought larger bees looked cuter. However, we can spawn in smaller bees using commands and create a realistic bee swarm. You may know that the Frostwalker enchantment creates frosted ice beneath your feet that melts away after a few seconds. However, this ice actually melts due to sunlight exposure. At night or in areas blocked from sunlight, the frosted ice remains indefinitely. Using this mechanic, you're able to combine a stone generator with a frosted ice generator to create this automatic ice tunnel builder for rapid boat travel. There's a way to fly into the sky using boats. Place a shulker in a boat and leash it. The shulker will keep firing bullets at you, causing you to float upwards, and the boat will come along with you. It's an unusual but effective way to ascend. However, here's a mischievous trick. Tie the alley to a fence post, give it an item, and then drop the same item just out of its reach. The alley will keep trying to reach the item, but will never be able to get it. Just kidding, I wouldn't actually do that. Did you know that villagers can outrun players in Minecraft? Normally, villagers move quite slowly, but when fleeing from zombies, their speed exceeds even Steve's sprinting speed. Turns out villagers can be quite athletic when they need to be. In real life, squids, tropical fish, and dolphins are saltwater creatures, while axolotls and turtles live in fresh water. However, in Minecraft, all these species can live in the same type of water. I guess all the mobs just adapted since there's no salt in the game. Carved pumpkins all look the same. In real life, we're able to carve creative designs for all of our pumpkins. That's why you should use the Pumpkin Variation Resource Pack. It introduces 31 brand new textures for carved pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns. Now you can properly decorate your spooky builds with unique pumpkins. Not a single mob can spawn in this stronghold. You may think I'm on peaceful mode, but I'm not. The stronghold actually generated right under a mushroom island, making it mob-proof. Well, besides the pesky silverfish. For those planning to build a castle, this seed offers a natural advantage, a steep moat surrounding a central island, perfect for constructing a grand castle. Plus, if you happen to fall off, you might land in the dripstone caves below. Did you know that Deep Dark was initially going to be underwater? According to the original roadmap for the update, underwater lights, floating jellyfish, and even ghost blocks were in the works. However, since this didn't match the creepy theme of the Warden, it was never implemented. Minecraft likes to reuse a lot of textures, but did you know the respawn anchor was actually reusing something as well? The respawn anchor sound is actually just another portal sound reversed. Normally, strongholds are hidden underground, but this seed is an exception. Here, the stronghold's library is completely visible above water, making it easy to spot from the surface. The /TP command lets you teleport around your world, but it can also be used to paralyze your enemies. With a repeating command block, teleport the player to the same coordinates, and they'll be stuck forever. Wait, how do I turn this off? The piercing enchantment on crossbows makes arrows go through mobs, but it has a trick. By using a piercing bow and a tipped arrow of weakness, you can affect all villager zombies in a line with weakness and cure 4 villagers at once. Or you can just use a splash potion. If you need to mine a huge area, you should just use TNT dupers. For some reason, when you place coral and slime like this, it duplicates TNT. This is super overpowered and is every hardcore YouTuber's dream item. This seed spawns you on a skull island. You're placed on top of a beautiful desert mesa with plenty of trees and even a village to get a head start. There's even a camel here. However, none of this is the coolest part. When you look at the island from the side, you'll see the skull, and when you head into one one of the eyes, you'll find a lush cave that spreads throughout the island. A secret mob vote was held in 2018. Only people in China could vote, and the panda ended up winning. However, the alligator, golden monkey, deer, and white dolphin were also potential candidates. Imagine having a monkey in Minecraft. You can break end portals in survival mode. Blowing up or mining the frame won't work, but for some reason a mushroom will. Bone mealing it a few blocks away will grow the mushroom right through the portal frames. Good luck beating Minecraft on this world. If you want to get every wood type, you'll typically need to travel across your world. However, in this seed, you'll spawn right onto an island with almost every type of wood, from swamps, jungle, and even acacia. The only wood missing from this island is cherry, but considering you spawn here, I still think it's a very good seed. There are even 2 ocean monuments right by the island. Just a couple hundred blocks from spawn, this seed features a picturesque lake bordered by a spiraling birch pathway. Below the lake lies a vast cave system, leading directly to a stunning mountain zone. These landscapes look amazing from above, and it gets crazier. Switch to version 1.19.2 and a sinkhole appears in the center of the lake. This item has a secret ability. You may know that you can use fishing rods on mobs like pigs and zombies, but it also works on non-mobs. You can reel in things like shulker bullets, primed TNT, anvils, and even the dragon egg. Okay, Minecraft is not very realistic. When you meet an Enderman, you're probably used to its purple eyes and black smoke that it emits, but the Enderman actually used to have green eyes. There's no way you knew this. If you drop an item into the ocean, dolphins will start playing with it. They'll bop the item up with their noses, sending it flying. Too bad this only works on Java Edition. Before the aquatic update in 1.13, any items that you threw into the water would all float down to the bottom of the ocean floor. But nowadays, they all float up to the surface and bob in place. It's really helpful because oceans used to be so much darker, so if you lost your stuff down there, it was pretty much gone for good. Underneath this cave is something you'd least expect. Somehow, a desert temple generated 80 blocks beneath the surface. You can even transform this place into a secret bunker. You can never unlearn this. The Void World Superflat preset spawns a stone platform centered at 8-8 rather than 0-0, so the stone platform is off-centered. My life is ruined! This is the most cursed way to break Minecraft. By using the No Cubes mod, you can completely remove the cubes from the world, creating rolling landscapes, circular caves, and realistic trees. The mod transforms Minecraft from a block game to a, okay, what is this? Bring me back! Donkeys are awesome for carrying loot, but they're too slow compared to horses. But there's a way to get both storage and speed. By feeding a tamed horse and tamed donkey a golden carrot, you'll breed them and get the mule. This mob doesn't spawn naturally and must be bred. The mule's speed is between the donkey and horse, and it can have storage. Ruined portals are naturally found across your world. But did you know that a completely functional portal can spawn too? On this seed, a ruined portal spawned inside of a woodland mansion, causing fire to spread and light the portal. Remember the old video of Herobrine? Though it was a hoax, the actual seed from that video was discovered. The old fog in old Minecraft does feel pretty creepy though. Horses and pigs were actually meant to have their own saddles. Horse saddles were added for one snapshot alone and were pretty much removed instantly in the next update. Now both horses and pigs use the same saddle, which is pretty convenient. But the farthest known spawn from 0-0 actually happens on version 1.12.2. The game searches throughout all these tiny islands, but since they're mostly covered with sand, the game keeps searching for a good spawn until placing you here, thousands of blocks away from 0-0. This is the meanest way to trap villagers. By placing a honey block, a cauldron on top, and a villager inside, you'll be stuck for all eternity! Well, until you let them go. If you turn on subtitles, you can see what sounds are playing around you. This can be really useful when trying to find lava pools underground. But something cursed also happens when you spawn a guardian. Who decided to call the sound a moan? Why are trees upside down here? I didn't place those there, but they naturally generated like that. In snapshot 18W06A, a bug caused some trees to generate flipped over. It's a bizarre sight that defies explanation. There's a color in Minecraft that is everywhere, but almost no one has noticed. Look at ocean monuments, guardians, the warden, and even soul energy. What do you think all of them have in common? It's the cyan color. Could this have something to do with Minecraft's ancient lore? Minecraft almost had lore. Back in 2014, Dinnerbone created something called the Ultimate Plan. This would include the entire game's story and would involve the dragon egg and endermites. But when he tweeted about it, he mentioned he hasn't discussed it with the team yet, so it probably got rejected. Did you know you can teleport mobs? Running this command will teleport the ender dragon right to you. But you can take this one step further and teleport every mob to your location, including things like boats and minecarts. The item frame looks pretty funky when you teleport it. I never knew it could be slanted. If you're looking for a safe place to build, consider settling on this mushroom island. It's absolutely massive, spanning over 1,500 300 blocks in each direction. What's the best way to get sand? You can mine for hours with a shovel, or you can do this instead. The sand duper uses the end portal and falling sand to get 72,000 sand per hour. It can also dupe concrete powder as well as gravel. I'm never mining again. Wolves can't teleport to you if there is no safe space to teleport to. But if you are completely surrounded in glass blocks, the wolf has a superpower and can teleport straight into it because it's a transparent block. That looks painful. The end features floating platforms about 4 to 8 blocks tall. However, in this seed, you'll find 4 end platforms stacked on top of each other to get a 26 block tall end pillar, which is the world record. The only way to get name tags is from loot chests, but there's still a way to duplicate them. If you name a big slime with a name tag and then kill it, each one of the baby slimes will have the same name as the parent slime. One of the coolest things in Minecraft is the lag machine. They utilize some of Minecraft's least known features to crash servers. There are all different kinds, from bouncing armor stands to floating snowballs. My favorite is the minecart lag machine. It's super simple to make and is extremely destructive. Water normally extinguishes fire, right? Well, most of the time. Because you can shoot fire charges straight into bubble columns and the fires will just float in the water. How is this even allowed? This seed has something wrong with it. If you head to these coordinates, you'll find an ice statue that sort of looks like an Among Us character. You can also try this other seed, and the mountains here will also form something suspicious. The double chest is nice, but the quad chest is even better. In older versions, you couldn't place more than 2 chests together. However, if you use the set block command, you could force another chest down. Doing so would reveal 3 inventories worth of storage. You can take this even further and set block 4 chests, creating a quintuple chest. There's so much storage that it gets cut off by the screen. Before the 1.9 update, there were 30 unused potions, some of which were the foul potion, thin potion, and sparkling potion. They had no effect and appeared to be retextures of other potions. I wish they were added still. Imagine drinking a stinky potion. Stop using the crafting table, at least to craft stone stairs, because you end up wasting so much stone. It takes 6 stones to craft 4 stairs with a crafting table, but you can craft a stair with just 1 using the stone cutter. Have you ever tried sleeping underwater? Because it's actually possible. If you swim down to the bottom of the nearest ocean and place your bed, you'll be able to get a good night's rest while all the floating mobs can't touch you. But that doesn't compare to this crazy village that has buildings stretching from the valley floor all the way to the mountain peak. If you travel east through the valley, you'll find a second cliffside village. These mountain villagers are living the life. Desert temples are nice, but there used to be ginormous pyramids. These were made completely out of bricks and were 64 blocks long. And why? Well, tons of people thought it was a bug. It was actually added on purpose. Bricks used to be impossible to craft, so these brick pyramids were a gold mine. What's weird though is that there were no rooms inside, and the layer of dirt and stone extends all the way below it. You can break bedrock with pistons, but did you know there's a way to get the actual item? This is one of the best and simplest ways to get it. On version 15W47C, first kill the Ender Dragon. Then while respawning it, you have to place and break the final end crystal instantly. Doing so will drop a piece of bedrock, one of the rarest items ever. Hooray! Whoops. But that's not as strange as these grids of trees. If you create a world in 20W28A, all birch forest biomes would generate trees in this strange grid-like pattern. There were supply crates? During April Fools in 2011, Steve's supply crates were added. To open it, you had to visit the store, which had a bunch of strange items from keys to a creeper saddle. But if you tried to purchase any of it, a dinosaur would appear. The Steve crate was a parody of the man supply crate found in another game called Team Fortress 2. This is one of the longest mountain ranges ever. At the start of it, you'll find a jungle temple, and once you climb all the way to the top, you can build a house overlooking the rest of the valley. This isn't an ocean monument, but an ocean city. When you travel to 00 on this seed, you'll find 4 ocean monuments all next to each other. The seed is honestly quite satisfying to look at because of the different ocean biomes separating them. This is evil! Separate 2 animals with a wall, and when you breed them, it'll actually work. Too bad the animals can't see each other though. If you ever wanted to build a bubble elevator, don't use water. Instead, stack up with ice blocks above a soul sand block and then mine it all the way down with a pickaxe. All the ice blocks will turn into water source blocks, and the bubble stream will send you flying right to the top. Skeletons are bow masters. That's what happens if you give them a crossbow. You'd expect them to draw them back just like pillagers, but unfortunately, they're not smart enough and just try to whack you with it. Ouch! Are you kidding me? If you don't want this to happen, there's an amazing trick you can do to make your chests invincible. Just waterlog them, and even if you set off 1,000,000 explosions, your loot is going nowhere. Travel to the outer end islands here, and you'll find just a singular city tower. That's more of an end house rather than an end city. Contrastly, on this different seed, you'll find find a massive end society. You won't be getting lonely here, and it'll be worth a visit for how much loot you can get here. This woodland mansion is a sight to behold at 101 blocks tall, supported by a massive cobblestone foundation. I wonder how pillagers even built all that. This block is gone forever! During Minecraft's 10-year anniversary, Cake's got a special candle on top. However, a few days after the event, a candle would be deleted. You couldn't even change your computer's date to get them back. The first structure ever was the InDev house. Back in 2009, Mojang was actually kind enough to spawn you inside a pre-built house. It was initially made out of mossy cobblestone, but was later changed to wooden planks, and the items it had inside were illegal. It had a bunch of items like lava and TNT with stacks of 99. Endermen hate water, but for some reason, if you put an Enderman in a water cauldron, they don't seem to mind. What's even weirder is that you can put a lava cauldron underwater, and if you go into it, you'll burn while underwater. Don't break any blocks on this world. If you touch even one, the entire world will fall apart. This is because the world is entirely sand with no blocks underneath. So if you break just one, it'll update the rest, creating a satisfying 5 seconds and a broken world. There's a way to harvest thousands of crops at once. Crops need light to survive, so if you turn off all lights once the crops are finished growing, all the crops will instantly break, saving you tons of time. The most satisfying way to break Minecraft is with illegal enchantments. By using commands, you can put Fortune 1000 on a pickaxe and mining diamonds will drop a ton. You can also put looting 1000 on your swords to get pork chops for years. This is the life. This flower was forgotten. Although some people know about the rose being replaced by the poppy, most have forgotten about the cyan flower. According to Jeb, these existed because of a hardware problem where the red color of the rose was inverted to blue. Traveling to the center of this ice lake, you'll find a massive sinkhole. But there's something down there that's even more interesting. You'll find a completely intact igloo that somehow hasn't melted away from all that lava. Before heading to the end, most people bring 12 Eyes of Ender to activate the portal. However, each portal block has a 10% chance of being pre-filled, which means there's a 1 in 1 trillion chance for a portal to be fully activated from the start. Like with this seed, ocean monuments are typically found in vast oceans, but this seed places one inside a lake. It fits perfectly in the middle of a mushroom biome. Have you ever noticed observers have a face? Well, it didn't always look like this. Instead of a face, there was a small sensor. But because both sides of the observer looked like a sensor, it was easy to get them confused. Luckily, Jeb kept getting confused too, and just added a face. Smooth variants of blocks like quartz and sandstone have a higher blast resistance than their normal versions. For example, smooth quartz has a blast resistance of 6, while the normal block of quartz has a blast resistance of 0.8. You can get smooth blocks by putting the normal blocks in a furnace. But if you want to completely escape civilization, you need this seed. When you spawn in, everything seems normal, but if you just turn around, you'll see a tall, steep island with a vertical cliff face. At the top of the island, you can find lush jungle trees, along with a jungle temple! You're falling in the air but don't have a bucket. Luckily, you have a potion of levitation, because by perfectly timing the potion just before you hit the ground, you can save yourself. Close one. These twin islands contrast each other perfectly. The first, a jungle island, is lush with bamboo and features a ruined portal alongside a stunning cave entrance. The second, a mesa island, is encircled by a warm ocean, decorated with vibrant coral reefs around its perimeter. Additionally, there's exposed gold on the surface that's ready for mining. Clouds had a hidden texture. Back in InDev, an image called Fluff was added to the files, but this was removed during the beginning of Alpha, and we never saw it again. Monster spawners are very useful for XP farms, but what about a sign spawner? Well, in an older version of Minecraft, a sign spawner was mistakenly added because signs were treated as entities. These were later fixed and changed to pig spawners. You know what? Removing sign spawners is good because it's so cursed. Well, those are some of the best Minecraft facts. Subscribe for knowledge!